हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, हरे कृष्णा माता जी।
हरे कृष्णा माता जी। 2 मिनट माता जी, बस शुरू कर रहे हैं हम कीर्तन।
हाँ, कोई बात नहीं प्रभु जी।
सोबत रखो 2 मिनट रहना। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी वाचकैकशकारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी वाचकैकशकारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna
की जय की जय।
हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू माता जी। आज मृदंग भी है और करताल भी है और ताली भी है, तीनों ऑल थ्री है। थैंक यू। और कैसे हैं माता जी, ठीक है?
हाँ जी ठीक है प्रभु जी।
हाँ ठीक है। महाराज इसका
No, Prabhuji, I don't think so.
okay, so I think he'll join in some time. Let me check with Maharaj. Give me 1 second. Yes, Maharaj is joining in just 1 or 2 minutes. He's joining, and so today we are going to start Updeshamrit. The first session will be today. और मुझे नहीं पता कि आप लोगों में से कितने लोगों ने वो प्रीफेस पढ़ा जो महाराज ने बोला था. It is very short preface, maybe 1 or 2 pages, but it has many gems in it. और आप सब लोगों से मेरी यही प्रार्थना है कि जितने लोग भाग ले रहे हैं, सुन रहे हैं, कि इसको जो उपदेशामृत है, अगर आप पढ़ेंगे प्रीफेस में प्रभुपाद बताते हैं, इट इज कि रूप गोस्वामी ने बहुत सारी पुस्तकें लिखी हैं, बट दिस इज अ बुक फॉर न्यूफाइट्स. सो और इसको बहुत लोग पढ़ते नहीं है, या पढ़ते हैं तो 5-6 श्लोक पे बस कर देते हैं कि इट इज वेरी हाई. सो बट इट इज अ प्रैक्टिकल. वी आर फॉलोअर्स ऑफ Srila Rupa Goswami, and we are called Rupanugas. जितने भी गौड़िया वैष्णव्स हैं उनको रूपानुगा बोलते हैं. और this book, Rupa Goswami जो है, he is the acharya of Abhidaya. So this is the book which gives us how to practically apply what we learn. So please hear it and also be interactive, and please switch on your screens. Friday को भी complaint आई है कि please जो लोग अपनी screen on कर सकते हैं, please switch on your screens. So when Maharaj sees, he doesn't see a blank screen, he can relate with us. And please ask questions also in the chat, and in the end, because it's a half-an-hour class, so in the end we will take the questions.
Maharaj is here.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Maharaj.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Give me
Yes.
a minute.
Yes, Maharaj. Sure, Maharaj. So अपनी स्क्रीन्स ऑन करके रखिए, और अभी कुछ बत्तियां जली हैं, सो अपनी स्क्रीन्स जो ऑन कर सकते हैं ऑन करिए. एंड प्लीज मेक द सेशन इंटरेक्टिव. महाराज विल लाइक इट. एंड अंडरस्टैंड, कोई भी चीज अगर हमें समझ में नहीं आती है, क्योंकि इसमें लिखा है, जो बुक इज फॉर न्यूफाइट्स, सो व्हिच इज ऑल ऑफ अस. सो उसमें हेजिटेट मत करिएगा कि वी शुड आस्क दिस क्वेश्चन नॉट. बेझिझक होके यू कैन राइट द क्वेश्चन ऑन द चैट और ask the question. So फिर कुछ बत्तियां जली थी, फिर से बंद हो गई. महाराज हरे कृष्ण. महाराज
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate that our Updeshamrita sessions are starting today, and we have with us His Holiness Bhakti Arja Priti Vardhan Maharaj. So we all heartily welcome Maharaj by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Arja Priti Vardhan Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna. I apologize for the delay. It's okay. So everybody was supposed to do something, right?
Yes, Maharaj. We were supposed to read the preface and know why Rupa Goswami wrote this book, Updeshamrit, and also read the first verse and see how we can relate to it.
So then, by reading the preface, then well, is it good now to ask questions, or rather just continue? How do we do it?
We continue, Maharaj. We will continue,
Okay.
and when the question answer comes, then we can ask.
Okay, so I'll just quickly read the preface, and then I will stop at few places and maybe elaborate a little bit on, and then we move to the first verse. So last week we were summarizing the first 4 verses, like outline. So now we will be going then through the book and through the verses. So the preface: the Krishna consciousness movement is conducted under the supervision of Sri Rupa Goswami. The Gaudiya Vaishnavas or Bengali Vaishnavas are mostly followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of whom the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan are direct disciples. Therefore, Sri Narottam Das Thakur has sung Rupa Raghunatha Pade, Heiba Akuti, Kabe Hama, Bhuja Baba, Sayugala Priti. When I am eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis, then I shall be able to understand the transcendent loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in order to bestow upon human society the benediction of the science of Krishna. The most exalted of all the activities of Lord Krishna are his pastimes of conjugal love with gopis. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the best of the gopis. Therefore, to understand the mission of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and follow in his footsteps, one must very seriously follow in the footsteps of the 6 Goswamis, Sri Rupa, Sanatan, Bhatta Raghunath, Sri Jiva, Gopalvata, and Dasa Raghunath. Sri Rupa Goswami was the leader of all the Goswamis, and to guide our activities, he gave us this Upadeshamrita, the nectar of instruction, to follow. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind him the 8 verses known as Shikshastaka, Rupa Goswami gave us Upadeshamrita, so that we may become pure Vaishnavas. So this is very important point to understand, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he has left behind the Shikshastakam. That's basically the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In 8 verses, the whole philosophy, the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, the Rasa and Tattva, all explained. Now, here, Srila Prabhupada mentioned as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left behind the Shikshastakam, that means the full teaching. So, thus, Rupa Goswami wrote the Upadeshamrita. So the Upadeshamrita, as you mentioned before, even though it's a small book, but it is extremely important. And if we study properly, then we can fully understand the most deep subject of devotional service. So therefore, and now we are going to study now. We are going to go through and to try to grasp the understanding of the Upadeshamrita. Starts from the beginning, when one is still on the conditioned state, but one is already decided that he wants to come out. He wants to come to the platform of pure Krishna consciousness. So that's the beginning. There's the first verse, and it ends at the time when the most intimate pastimes of of Krishna are experienced by the Vaishnava. In all spiritual affairs, one's first duty is to control his mind and senses. Unless one controls his mind and senses, one cannot make an advancement in spiritual life. Everyone within this material world is engrossed in the modes of passion and ignorance. One must promote himself to the platform of goodness, Sattva Guna, by following the instructions of Rupa Goswami. And then everything concerning how to make further progress will be revealed. This is another very important point, that Rupa Goswami, and here we have it by Srila Prabhupada, mentioned that if somebody wants to make a progress, then he should come first to the platform of Sattva Guna. Actually, no, Srila Prabhupada said one must promote himself to the platform of goodness. Sometimes this is misunderstood by the devotees, that because the Shastra mentions we have 3 gunas, and within that, then Tamaguna, Rajaguna, Sattva Guna. Now, Sattva Guna also sometimes may be contaminated. So, for the pure Vaishnava, it's only the Shuddha Sattva which is acceptable. That's the mode of pure goodness, and that's the mode in which the pure Krishna consciousness can be experienced. Now, to come to the platform of Shuddha Sattva, then the easiest, the most appropriate way is to come from the platform of goodness. So, Sattva Guna, from Sattva Guna, going towards Shuddha Sattva is the easiest way. Like, for example, if you would be like an example, you want to go somewhere. So you want to go from Gurgaon and you want to go to, say, Connaught Place. So, and you decide, then you walk. So to walk from Gurgaon to Connaught Place will take you a very long time. You will make it, but there will be so many obstacles, and it will take very long time. So if you take a metro, and by the metro, no, you go to that, there's a metro station, Connaught Place, no? So you go there, and you get up, you get down at the station, and from there you walk wherever you want to go. It will be very quick. So the same way, we should see the Sattva Guna is like a vehicle which takes us near, takes us close. So we can use that. And from there, it's very quick when we can achieve the Shuddha Sattva. It's foolish to reject. Oh, no, we don't want that. We are transcendental. So we will only do transcendental qualities. No, we are pure goodness. We don't bother with any other. We don't bother with Sattva Guna. Then it may be true, but that may be for those only who are on the platform. Otherwise, if we assume we are on the platform of Shuddha Sattva, but we are not, then the conditioning will pull us down. The conditioning will be very strong, and we will not be able to necessarily make it. So therefore, then Srila Prabhupada says that first we should place ourselves in the Sattva Guna. And how do we do it? He is giving Rupa Goswami is giving the instructions in the Upadeshamrita. First, stop doing anything which is tamasic and rajasic. That's the first thing. And then do activities which will promote you to the Sattva Guna, and now through the association of devotees and following the instructions of spiritual master from the Sattva Guna, very easily you can come to the Shuddha Sattva. It's because when you are on the Sattvaguna platform, then, for example, to sit down and chant japa with focus, it's easy. It's not difficult. But when we are in the Rajaguna or Tamaguna, then in Rajaguna, sit down and chant japa, it's very difficult because we have so many things always to do. And in Tamaguna, chanting japa is very difficult because we always fall asleep. So therefore, the Sattvaguna, even though it's a material platform, but still it helps us to achieve the transcendental Sattvaguna. So that's why we can take it, don't be attached to it, use it. Same like the metro. You go by the metro, don't be attached to your seat. Once you reach the destination, just stand up and go. Don't, oh, this is my seat, I have to keep it. No, don't do that. It's use that as a vehicle, come to the place, and then do what you need to do next. So, yeah, that's one point. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. A follower of the Krishna consciousness movement should become a perfect Goswami. Vaishnavas are generally known as Goswamis. In Vrindavan, this is the title by which the director of each temple is known. One who wants to become a perfect devotee of Krishna must become a Goswami. Go means the senses, and Swami means the master. Unless one controls his senses and mind, one cannot become a Goswami. To achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee of the Lord, one must follow the instructions known as Upadeshamrita, which have been given by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami has given many other books, such as Bhakti-Rasamrita Sindhu, Vidagdha Madhava, and Lalita Madhava. But Upadeshamrita constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. One should follow these instructions very strictly. Then it will be easier to make one's life successful. Hare Krishna. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Vishwarup Mahotsav, Krishna Balaram Mandir, Raman Reti, Vrindavan, India. Okay, what time do we have?
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, we have time. We have no issues with the time.
Yeah?
Yes, Maharaj. Our time is no issue. It is
Okay.
your time, Maharaj.
So, I don't know, any questions on this?
Maharaj, one question which came to my mind is that we say that here that Udeshamrit constitutes the first instructions for neophyte devotees. And whereas we see that hardly this book is given importance, and we hardly hear much about, leave aside contemplation. So how do we encourage, ourselves and others to read and see the importance of this book in our life?
Yeah, you see, all the books, actually, no, all the Srila Prabhupada's books, should be properly understood, and should be properly understood by preaching them with the practical application. So now, just to read the Upadeshamrita, you may get nice read, you may get some points, but if you don't understand that these points are about you, they are about your following the instructions in your life, then it will not be very successful, not very useful. So we should, first of all, start reading, and not just reading, studying the Upadeshamrita with the idea that this is something for me to follow. And if I cannot, why I cannot? What's stopping me? If I don't understand something, why? Please, can somebody explain? I need more explanation on that. I need to know more about this. I need to know more about that. How do I follow? What does it mean? No, Vacha Vegam. What is manasa vegam? No. How do we control the speech? How do we control the mind? How do I control anger? How do I control the tongue, belly, genitals? So now these things should be applied in one's life. Like previously, we were talking about education, 3 stages of education: Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So reading, no, studying, talking, discussing, that's Shravanam. But then contemplating, deliberating on how I'm going to apply myself in my life. What can I do? What do I need to do? This is very important part. That's where the Upadeshamrita, or in fact any transcendental book, finds the most importance, because I can apply it in my own life today, right now. So that leads then after that to the Nididhyasanam, or the realization. So we should ask questions. Pranipata Pariprashna Sevaya. We should see, okay, I have difficulty with this. No. So at least, even if we don't ask questions, we should still contemplate about it. What do I need to do? How I can go about to reduce my sense gratification or completely eliminate the sense gratification? What can be done? Because this is the beginning, the starting point from where we can progress in our consciousness. Yes?
Yes. Thank you, Maharaj. Yes. First, we have to apply, then only others will also feel inspired.
Yeah. And it's always much easier in association with devotees, which that will be the 4th verse talking about. So the book is very practical. It explains everything what we need to know in the process of devotional service. But we may not realize it. We may not identify it. We may not be able to apply it because we don't know that it's about that. So somebody has to remind us, and that's what it's about.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, Neha Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj, as you mentioned about doing japa in the mode of goodness always. So what happens with me is that I am not always in the mode of goodness. I am in all 3 modes. Sometimes I sleep also. Sometimes my mind is wandering in various things, and sometimes I am listening to the mantra also. Like I concentrate on that. So throughout my japa, I'm not in the mode of goodness. So how I can improve that I'm completely into mode of goodness at that time during japa?
See, the mind has it's the main of this is the main sense. Now we have the senses, but the mind is the chief of the senses. So the mind needs to be in goodness for it to properly function. Passion, the intelligence is the working element. Intelligence is the passion, but mind has to be peaceful. Then the intelligence through the mind can be properly focused and achieve what needs to be done. But if the mind is agitated, then the senses will be agitated and we cannot get the proper focus, and we will want to satisfy the senses, and that goes to unlimited. Now this later on something more, and it's never ending. So the mind has to be peaceful for the intelligence to function properly. Now, how do we do that? If we focus on understanding that we need to calm down the intelligence, the mind. So, for example, like you said, that like being impassioned, so then some thoughts are coming, being disturbed. Like we're reading in the Haranam Chintamani, there are many ways being distracted. So at the first moment, we may not even realize that. Sometimes very sneaky. So we are chanting japa, and suddenly just some thought creeps in, and we start thinking about it without us knowing. Okay, it happened. The moment you realize that you are not focusing, immediately bring the mind back to the focus. Don't be disturbed. No, nothing happened. Just pay the endeavor, develop the endeavor to, whenever there is some little disturbance, just bring the mind back. And some minutes later, again, there will be some like a drifting, bring it back. As soon as you realize it, you keep doing that, then the mind will succumb actually to the habit. It will be less and less disturbing. It will be less and less problematic for the intelligence to keep the mind calm. But if we let the mind go and start thinking about different things and completely being spaced out, then that becomes the habit, and then it will be very difficult to bring the mind back. So as soon as we realize that the mind is being in the Rajaguna, and try to just bring it back. And it can be very seamless. Now you are chanting japa, and then suddenly just you notice some thoughts or somewhere, just bring them back and just continue chanting. Don't get disturbed. In Tamaguna, sometimes falling asleep, then sometimes you have to just mechanically stand up and walk and chant. Or you may do a few squats, kind of like it, just to get the blood flowing, so kind of like get it more into the Rajaguna, at least to be awake. And then from Rajaguna, it's easier to take it to Sattva. Or wash your face. Just be aware. You are falling asleep, and that's not good. And therefore, just do something about it. Sometimes you may not be able to even understand that you are falling asleep, but somebody tells you, hey, you are falling asleep. So believe him. Because if you don't, no, I'm not sleeping. You may be fully asleep, but I'm not sleeping. I remember there was one pujari, and in the temple, he went to put deities to sleep. So he was there putting deities to sleep. Now, another pujari, he comes there onto the altar in the morning to wake up the deities for Mangalarati. And the pujari, he's sitting there with like chanting Gayatri. He fell asleep just leaning on the door, and then so the pujari, the second pujari, what's happening? Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. So he was sleeping the whole night. So like that, the mind works out that we just sometimes go to sleep even completely unaware. We don't know what's happening. Same thing can be with the japa. So we should have some devices, figure out how we can avoid the sleeping. Ask somebody, please, if you see me that I'm just a little falling asleep, please, wake me up. Or if you just notice, then just wash your face. Same thing like when you drive. Now, when you are driving, you need to be aware. You need to be alert. You cannot sleep. So the same attention you put into driving, put into chanting with the same importance. So when you are seeing that you are a little tired, behind the wheel, then you stop, stretch a little bit, have a little drink or something like that, and then you continue. So the same way you do with the japa. Put at least as much importance to the japa as much you put for the driving, or for some other activities which you need to be completely alert. Don't underestimate. Don't like when it's cold a little bit. So then you just going to chant japa, put some blankets, so feel like very nice and cozy, and then just naturally like you drift off and start sleeping. No, don't do that. Be aware of, prepare yourself that you don't want to go to sleep. And therefore, you make yourself such a way so it will be very difficult for you to go to sleep. Whatever it may be. Tukaram Maharaj, he devised a plan how to become Gudakesha. How to be always awake. So he tied his shika up to the tree. So if he would be like falling asleep, it pulls the shika, so he becomes awake. And that way he achieved that he was able to keep himself awake whenever he wanted. So anyway, that's one of the ways.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, we have 2-3 more questions. One is from Asha Mataji. She's saying, Hare Krishna Maharaj, how Sattva Guna is contaminated?
See, the Sattva Guna itself, if it's pure, it's not contaminated. But the problem is that in the material world, the gunas, even though we say as a 3 gunas, but they are never uncontaminated by the others. So there are always some at least tinges of some other guna in any guna. So the Sattva Guna may be predominating. Therefore, you say that the person is in Sattva Guna. But some activities then may be more Rajasic or more Tamasic. So on the material platform, then neither of the gunas are pure. They are always contaminated. So therefore, when we speak about Sattva Guna, then there are still like a tinges of some activities which will be done in Rajaguna or Tamaguna. Only the Shuddha Sattva, then it's completely uncontaminated because there is no materialism. There is no material desire. That's why it's uncontaminated. So like the Brahmanas, right? We may say Brahmanas are then in Sattva Guna. But sometimes you see, for example, like Durvasa Muni, Brahmana, right? But when he gets angry, then that's not Sattva Guna, right? So that's the mixture. There is always some contamination. Yes?
Yes, thank you so much, Maharaj.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Next question, Maharaj, is from Mega Mataji. She's saying, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. I have a question. You said don't attach, but use it. Can you please elaborate the difference between using something and not getting attached to it?
Yeah. Say, for example, then you want to go, again, say to the Connaught Place. So you sit in a taxi, and then you go and you get out of the taxi, pay the money, and then you are where you wanted to be. You don't think about the car, which took you there. You don't think about the driver. So there is no attachment. You just take it like that as it is. Now use it, and then after that, just forget it. You fulfill the mission. But if you take your own car, then, oh, it's my car, I have to clean it. Oh, look, he touched my car. Or no, you bumped this car into this. Oh no, what will I do now? And then no, the feelings of, oh, the car, it's like me, or it's my extension, so I have to take care of it properly. It's very difficult. So the attachment will be more because it's yours. So yeah, that's the difference. That we should use the things which are favorable for devotional service, but not to get attached to them. Like Srila Prabhupada, no, he instructs before the regulative principles. So then, no, the regulative principles have to be followed for one to come to the platform of to be able to get initiated. But after the devotee passes through the stage of anartha nivritti, nishta, ruchi, then the focus on following the regulative principles, it's not there. It's automatically fulfilled, but the focus, there is no need to be. The focus is on the instruction, always chant the holy name, perform devotional activities. So we should be very careful not to come to a platform like niyamagraha. No. So if we start following the no, my guru said I have to follow the rules, so I have to always follow the rules, and then focus is the rules. Then you forget the instruction what the guru tells you. No, chant the holy name. No, focus on the devotional activities. So then one gets lost because the attachment is somewhere else. The attachment still is in the material activities, to not to do them, but still focused on the material activities, rather than focus on the spiritual activities, which is chanting of the holy name. Yes?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We have two more questions, Maharaj. So one is from Ankita Mataji. She's saying, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam. It is said here that unless one controls senses, one cannot advance in spiritual life. But we also hear that as we progress spiritually, all our senses eventually gets controlled. My question is that should the senses be controlled first before attempting to do any activity in spiritual life?
You see, it's a progress. It's a process which we go through. So now when a child starts education, so then he cannot immediately starting to be a doctor. He needs to learn the ABC, and with learning the ABC, then he needs to also learn how to write. And after that, he has to start reading books, and then he has to start reading and studying, and then he writes his essays and he writes his project, and then he progresses, and then he can start getting deeper into the subject, whatever he wants to do. But without the ABC, he will not be able to do that. So we come to the platform that we decide, I want to practice, I want to become a devotee. So what's important is the decision. I want to become a devotee. So when we make the decision that I want to do something about it, I want to become a devotee, I want to control my senses because I want to become a devotee. So from that moment, then we are making progress. We have made our commitment. So from that point, we are progressing, and we will achieve the top destination because we follow in the progress. Then bhajana kriya, when the guru gives initiation, then we make this commitment under the oath of the to the guru, right? In front of the fire. So that gives us more strength. But it's the same thing. Just it helps us to fulfill the commitment, and the commitment is I want to be pure devotee. So that's how we progress. So the main thing is when we start devotional service, then we should decide, okay, I want to be able to follow the instructions of Uparashamrita. I want to come to the platform to be able to control my senses. I want to be able to develop association with the devotees. I want to be able to give up association with non-devotees. I want to. It should be the beginning. Doing so, then it will come to I'm doing. And that's the progress. And after that, no, the next step would be I will never go back to the other material. I'm so attached to devotional activities that I don't want to even hear about the materialistic activities. Yes?
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Maharaj, this last question is from Ronnie Prabhu. He's writing, Hare Krishna Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada in preface writes that advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on attitude of a follower. Can you please explain more on the attitude? What should be the right attitude of an aspiring devotee to advance in Krishna consciousness?
See, the proper attitude of a devotee will be then pranipata pariprashna sevaya. Tarvidi pranipatana pariprashna sevaya uparikshantite jnanam jnanina sadarshana. So that's the proper attitude. Now, to come to the attitude, then there must be a desire. So ideally, the disciple, the aspiring disciple, should be able to develop attachment or develop a way to understand and the desire to follow the Guru's instructions. So if he can do that, and it can be even kind of like, oh, I like my Guru because he sings very nice, and I like to sing. So he's asking me to learn singing. I like that. It's fine. It's called the svajati. So that way, then disciple gets purified, and after that, he will be able to follow anything. So that's this is we can say the important point that that we need to work on. Just how we can that's the attitude. Attitude is I want to follow. I don't know how to, but please tell me. Association, sadhu sangha. And I believe you, and therefore I follow, I apply, and it works. So that's what the attitude is. That's what the attitude of devotee should be developed. So those with the proper attitude, then they can progress very fast. That's the meaning.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. This is a very wonderful answer. I heard so many answers on this question.
Thank you, Maharaj.
He has a second part of the question, Maharaj. He's asking, Ronnie Prabhu, that Srila Prabhupada in preface writes, to achieve the highest success in life by becoming a Goswami and then a pure devotee. So he's saying, my question is, what is the difference between a Goswami and a pure devotee? Because Prabhupada is saying, first become a Goswami and then a pure devotee.
Goswami, and Srila Prabhupada uses the term Goswami here, one who is able to control his senses. So basically, anybody who can follow the first verse, you can already be said that he is a Goswami. But then, once he is able to control the senses, as then the Goswami, then he can progress in devotional service. So Goswami, that in the term, and means like a Swami, but then also it can be a Grihastha, because one who is a Grihastha, it's also called technically Grihastha Brahmachari. So he's controlling his senses. He may have sex for procreation, and Krishna himself says this is not a sex. So therefore, actually, he's also celibate. So therefore, you can also use the term even for Grihastha. So Goswami is can be the way to understand that one who is able to control his senses. and then from that, then he can progress farther than in the devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Okay. All right.
Yes, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj. We preface and the questions answer. We had good session today. So we took time also. So
Thank
thank you so very much, Maharaj. All of us, we pray and thanks, Maharaj, by loudly chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. आज प्रति वदन महाराज की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So thank you all of you for participating and attending these sessions. हमने देखा आज प्रीफेस का ही कितना सुंदर सेशन हुआ हमारा और कितने अच्छे आंसर्स दिए महाराज ने. So and when we hear from such a sadhu, it anyway purifies our heart just to hear from somebody. So thank you so very much. So next week we will start with the first verse of Updesha Amrit. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.